All right, it's 6:30. I'm going to call this meeting to order. We can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the first order of business is I need a moderator for the town meeting. Can I have a motion from the floor for a moderator, please?
I nominate Harold Fredericton, Tony McMahon.
Second.
Second, Neil? Any other motions from the floor for a moderator? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of Harold Frederickson moderating tonight's meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Mr. Frederickson.
Almost there. First item of business would be to have Scott, legal notice, if you would.
Legal notice, Town of Haddam, town meeting. Notice is hereby given to the legal voters and/or taxpayers of the Town of Haddam. The town meeting will be held at the Haddam Fire Station, number 1, 439 Saybrook Road, Hingham, Connecticut, on Wednesday, December 5th, 2018, at 6:30 p.m. for the following purpose. 1, to choose a moderator to preside over such meeting, and 2, to consider, discuss, and vote to approve budget transfer request 2018-5 for $355,320 from the Regional District 17 line unallocated CNR line. 3, to consider, discuss, and vote to approve the allocation of $141,500 from the unallocated CNR line to a new line, Scoville Reservoir Dam, for the needed repairs for dam safety section of DEEP regulations. 4, to consider, discuss, and vote to approve the allocation of $9,000 for the Haddam Volunteer Fire Department from the unallocated CNR line to CNR 19-50 machine line due to updated testing regulation requirements. 5, to consider, discuss, and vote to repurpose CNR truck 7-13 line $100,000 to purchase a military truck that meets the needs of the Haddam Volunteer Fire Department. Dated in Haddam, Connecticut, this 29th day of November 2018. Board of Selectmen, Liz Moardo, Larry Maggi, Melissa Schlapp.
Okay, thanks, Scott. First thing would be to entertain a motion to approve that as the call of the meeting. That just means we're all in agreement that that's what we're here to talk about. That doesn't actually approve any of those individual items. So,
I'll make the motion.
thank you. Second?
Second.
Any discussion or question on that? Then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The first item.
Did they give you that?
Thanks. The first item is the budget transfer request of $355,320 from District 17 line from 2018 to the unallocated capital non-recurring line. Liz, you want to just explain to us what that's about?
Yeah, so in last year's budget, for the dollar amount that we approved for RSD 17, there was an overage that is due back to the town for a number of reasons. Some funding came through that wasn't expected. There were some expenses that the Board of Education was able to cut, and there was some funding that the town had put aside. So when the numbers all came through and lined up, there is an overdue, which rarely ever happens, but it did, of $355,320. And this has gone through the process of the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance to bring to town meeting to accept these funds to go into our capital funding. We have an unallocated capital fund that helps us do improvements for the town. Sometimes it's used to fund project needs in the budget process, but the motion is to put the funds back into unallocated capital. So as we're doing that and doing the dollar amount, it's a change in the budget. That's why we're here. It's something that needs to go to town meeting.
Okay, so I'd like to entertain a motion then that we vote to approve the budget transfer from the Regional District 17 2008, line $355,320 to the unallocated capital non-recurring line. Can I have a motion, please? I'm sorry. And a second? And then I'll open it up for discussion or any further questions or comments on that. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great, thanks. The second item of business then is to vote to approve the allocation of $141,500 from the unallocated capital non-recurring line and create a new line of the Scoville Reservoir Dam for needed repairs of the dam per safety section of the DEEP regulations. So I'm going to once again ask Liz to give us a little background on that, please, and then we'll ask for a motion and open that up for discussion.
So as many of you know, the Silver Springs Basin Group, Scoville Dam, has been in bankruptcy. Every 2 years, the dam needs to have an inspection done for its safety and for maintenance. The last time an inspection was done was in 2006. I worked with DEEP in 2016. I had a group of engineers go out along with the town engineers and the town planner and myself to look at what was needed for the repairs to take care of the dam. There was articles that were written that the dam was in poor condition, and obviously being a safety concern for the town, we needed to get a handle on what that looked like. When we met with DEEP, they assured us that the dam was structurally sound. However, due to the lack of maintenance, there was a lot of brush that was overgrown. There were some trees and weeds growing through some of the concrete and brick. There were some safety concerns about the mechanisms that needed to be turned. So DEEP had instructed the town that this was something that needed to be done. At that point in time, we still were in bankruptcy, and the town had not had receivership of the property. I had Jacobson and Associates go out. Obviously, it's been a very wet year, a lot of weather issues. We thought we'd get out there early spring to be able to have some numbers. They went out, they looked at what needed to be done. Initially, they were giving me figures about between $100,000 and $150,000, knowing that the funds weren't put aside for that and that we would have to go through this process of town meeting. Also, we put some property up for sale. There were 5 approved building lots that had not been sold. We did sell one of those through town meeting. Those funds went into CNR unallocated, the same fund that we just put the school money in, and we sold a piece of property for $42,500. The engineers had a few contractors go out. Nothing's been awarded yet or given, just to get some really good estimates to what needs to be done. We've contacted the property owner at one that we need right now to get an easement. We're in the process of being able to do that. So Jacobson came back with an estimate of $141,500. It has a 40% contingency built into it, which is pretty significant. The reason for that is just because of the way the ground is and the riprap that needs to be there, the wetlands and things that need to be protected to do the work. I'd like them to be able to do that work as soon as possible. Obviously, Mother Nature is always a piece of that puzzle. These are things that we are being requested by DEEP through the Dam Safety Committee to do. I actually received a letter from them. They're looking for a timetable from us to be able to do that. They're also looking for an emergency operation procedure to be done up there. That's something that the town engineers can do, and they're working on. It's going to take them a little bit of time to do that. So the purpose of the meeting tonight is to take $141,000 out of the CNR and allocate it. Any time that we spend money in the town that's not included in the town budget, we need to go to town meeting for. So this will allow the finance department to create a line to be able to transfer the funds out of CNR into this line. So therefore, we can start looking at bidding and the work that needs to be done so that we can go out to bid and get this process going, so that we meet what DEEP is giving us for regulations that we need to be done. And again, the dam will be safe. It's a public safety concern for the town, so this is why we're requesting it.
Okay, so I'd like to entertain a motion then that we approve the allocation of $141,500 from the unallocated capital non-reserve line to a new line, Scoville Reservoir Dam. And that will be used for the needed repairs for the dam safety section of the DEP regulations. So if I could have a motion to that effect, then we'll open up to discussion. Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Second, okay. Now, maybe if you could state your name if you make a motion, that'll help Scott out. So, questions and comments on that? Yes, Melissa?
I have a quick statement, very short, from Sean Moriarty, who's a member of the Board of Finance. Good evening. I had intended to speak in person, but tonight is my mother-in-law's birthday, so it would be prudent for me not to celebrate with her. As a recently appointed member of the Board of Finance, I voted to bring this issue to a town meeting so the people could have a voice in the matter. As I see it, makes no fiscal sense whatsoever to spend precious tax dollars to fix a dam that is just going to be turned over to the as yet to be formed association. The amount of money that the citizens of Haddam have already spent on this failed subdivision is incredible, and to ask us to just hand out more money without nothing in return is absurd. As someone with a fiduciary responsibility for Haddam, I cannot endorse spending money on this dam if there are no guarantees that our elected leaders will pledge to keep the property people of Haddam. Sincerely, Sean Moriarty. I have a quick statement of my own. I'll first start with asking Liz Milano again if she will pledge to ensure that this land stays with the people of the town of Haddam.
Melissa, you know as well as I do, that it's up to the people in the town of Haddam to make a decision to buy or sell property. It is not up to the first selectman to pledge or not pledge on the intent of that. I don't hold the authority to do that, nor do I have, it is not our process for the charter. And for you to try to make a political game out of something that's going on, of a process that took over 20 years to come out of, and you're now all of a sudden taking credit for, I really take objection to it. So I'm not here to talk about what I'm going to do. This is a safety concern for the residents in this town. It's something that needs to be handled. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions and not hide them on the shelf, as you chose to do. And this is something that I'm bringing to the people in this town, as per our charter, to make a decision. And that's my comment on it, to you.
Thank you for coming. I will remind you that I was the one who hired the bankruptcy attorney to start the ball rolling. However, can I finish my statement?
No.
I will finish my statement. I didn't get to finish my
I
statement.
would like to know who the bankruptcy attorney is.
You have the bills.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Melissa,
Well, that's a whole separate issue. Let me finish my statement. Again,
up.
the Board of Selectmen is the one that would send this issue to a town meeting. Therefore, if the Board of Selectmen does not vote to send it to a town meeting, it stays with the people. So we do have that obligation. However, if the first selectman and Larry Maggi work to make this come to town meeting to pass the land from the public to, with all due respect to people who live on Silver Springs, to those small handful of homeowners, it will be the largest private interest public land giveaway in Connecticut history. I just want everybody to know that.
And I will remind you that their deeds have very clearly in there what their rights are. And that, again,
The town
this
is
is not what we are here
not worried about
to
their
vote
deeds.
on. We are here to vote on a public safety
I'm making
matter.
it, I'm making it.
Okay,
Right, but we don't have a homeowners
We
association.
got a corner.
yeah,
I'm
we're
not
there.
getting into a political contest about this, and I apologize, I needed to say my piece. We're here to take care of something that's a public safety issue. For the record, Larry Maggi and I voted to take it to town vote. Melissa rescinded or didn't vote, whatever the case may be. She is entitled to her opinion on it. However, this is the process that we're following, and that is why we are here.
Further comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
Who owns the property where the dam is?
Right now, the town had to take receivership through the bankruptcy court because there's no one else to take hold because Mason went bankrupt. So it'd be the same thing if something happened to Hidden Lake, and it'd be no different. So because, again, it needs to have maintenance done, it's a public safety concern, it becomes the town's responsibility to do so.
Yeah, and Shane from Haddam. I have no problem fixing this dam, it's a safety issue, I understand that very clearly. But other people from Silver Spring had 20 years to set up their association and put money aside, and we did. At this point, if we pay for this dam, and you decide to transfer the property over to them, I would expect that we will reimburse for the price of the dam.
Yes, I'm just going to interrupt you for a minute.
I'm sorry?
I think tonight, if you want to say that the decision of the use of the property has not been made, and I can't support this until that decision is made, that's a fine statement. But I don't want to get into a battle tonight back and forth on how the land should be used.
It's not a balance statement that the first selectman has made many times. If she cannot give the assurance that the property will stay with the public, in that case, I cannot support this vote.
Fair statement. Yes.
On the dam itself, I can see fixing that thing, but I've got a question about the lake. Theoretically, the town owns the lake now because you foreclosed
We have receivership.
on Clark and
Yes,
taxes, right?
correct.
So you're prepared to give that lake back to the association?
I didn't
Or
say
is the
that.
association going to have to pay for that lake? How does that work?
I don't know, we're not there right now.
Yeah, that's
This is the town's responsibility to take care of something that Dee is requesting us to do.
As it is right now, if nothing happens, the town would have to fix the dam for the safety of the people downriver.
Correct.
That's the basic.
That is
thing in a
correct.
nutshell.
That is correct.
So you have to fix it.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't see what we're even here for.
To vote on spending.
It's the process that we have to go through. So we do have to be.
Because that has to be fixed.
Other questions or comments? Yes.
Once we spend this money for this project, we return it back, if it gets turned back to the folks who live up there. Is it going to be because we use town money, we use town engineers? If we give it back to the association, is it not going to be a liability to the town in future years? And the dam has to be checked every 2 years. Who's paying for that? The folks up there? Or is it gonna come back every 2 years to the town of Haddam? And we spent almost $150,000 to fix this thing. Is it gonna be the responsibility of this town in the future if something happens to that dam? Is it the responsibility of the taxpayers once again to have to fix it?
As long as the town owns the property, the town has to maintain it or has receivership of it.
And if the town owns that property, then the taxpayer should have a right to use it. If not,
That's not the discussion right now.
Yes.
Just to answer his question, I believe he's asking if the lake is turned over back to the residents, is the town still responsible? I believe once the dam is remedied and the homeowners form their association, they're going to be responsible for insurance on that dam and then take care of it themselves.
if they do that.
But that's a debate
That's a
for
big
another, that's a debate for another night.
Does the DEP require these fixes?
Yes, this is what Dee was
Just to
requesting.
piggyback on what this gentleman said, we really don't have a choice here. We have to fix it.
No, we will not be compliant with.
And that's the sole issue before this
Right.
committee.
At this point.
Yes, we have a notice of violation.
That's
From what I understand, it has to be inspected every couple of years too, not 10 years or 15 years like
Right.
it's been, right?
Right. A big reason why it is what it is now is just because the maintenance hasn't been done for it since 2000, since well before 2006. It's been 12 or 13 or 15 years since
Which is
any
way
work has
overdue.
been done. Correct. It's not, I don't know what it'll be in the future, but I highly doubt it'll be this.
Why can't we just take the dam down and settle everything? We want to spend the money, we want to deal with it down the road or anything.
You live on it, that's why.
There's easements, there's deeds that are tied to this dam.
Can I have just one person, please? This is the gentleman.
So the cost, we looked at what the cost would be. It would be more to take the dam out than to repair the dam. And there's also legal ramifications to that. So I am doing what I'm being sent as the leader of this town that a letter that I received from Deke that we are in violation of repairs that need to be done.
Yes.
Do you have any more information on what the repairs are, what's really required?
Yeah, it was. Part of the record of the Board of Finance meeting and Board of Selectmen meeting. As I said, there's a 40% contingency built into it. So clearing trees, replacing boulders, putting in crushed stone, riprap, topsoil, mulch, silt fencing, water handling, mobilization, all that, the total estimate of the work, what needs to be done, is $104,000.
Does that include apparently it's frozen, the dam is frozen, the gear mechanism or whatever? it is?
Yes,
So that's
it includes fixing the locks, doing everything that needs to be done on the under drain. And then there's a contingency, as I said, of about 40%, which is almost $37,000. And this is a preliminary option. Again, I could have come in and said we need $100,000, which is probably what it's going to be. But if we went over that, then I would have to pull up the work and go back to town meeting. So anytime Jacobson does bids for us on road work, on anything they do, depending upon the type of work they do, they always build a contingency in.
I'm looking for anybody who hasn't spoken once, and I'll get back to that, yes.
If the funds aren't allocated, does DEP have any fines?
Yeah, they'll come back with a consent order and fines.
And how much is that?
I don't know. I didn't ask. I would just hope we'd be
And who
responsible.
would be responsible for that?
The town.
Since the first selectman said that it would cost more to tear the dam, how much more?
I believe the estimates that we got preliminary, I don't have it right, it's a verbal discussion that we had with Howard Cromer from Jacobson and a few other engineers. And it was a while ago, so I want to say it was about $250,000 to $300,000.
Get that in writing?
To Soju, I don't have it in writing. I told you it was that meeting. I don't see the need to get it in writing.
Other comments or questions? Hearing none, then let's have a vote. If you would, all who are in favor of making this transfer, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, I think it's clear that the ayes have it. Next item of business.
We can ask everyone to just stay about 5 minutes and be done with the fire piece so that we can just get through this. I really appreciate it.
Next item of business, to approve the allocation of $9,000 to the Haddam Volunteer Fire Department unallocated, to approve the allocation. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll read slowly, it does make sense. To approve the allocation of $9,000 for the Haddam Volunteer Fire Department from unallocated capital non-recurring line to the capital non-recurring line 19 fit testing machine due to updated testing regulations and requirements. Scott, or one of you fire guys?
I actually can answer this.
Okay.
It's not so technical that or moving around that I need Scott for this. So in this past budget that we approved in town meeting in May, there was a line item in to purchase a piece of equipment for fit testing for the gear that the firemen use. And that piece of equipment we've been borrowing in the past, we no longer can do that. So we approved $10,000 for that. There have been new upgrades to that for new masks, and we need to be able to buy an additional piece of equipment that ties with it for an adapter so that we can test the masks that the firemen wear, not only here in Haddam, but also in Haddam for both. So we need $9,000 more to do this purchase, and it's something that is required for testing every year. It's something traditionally that they do in early part of the year, January, February, which is why we can't hold it over until next year and put the additional funds in the budget. What are all the highlights? All right.
Okay. So I'd like to entertain a motion that we make that $9,000 transfer.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, and your name is?
Jeff Ogilvy.
And a second?
Second.
Who was the first second?
Any questions or discussion on this item? If not, then, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And then I think the last item of business, to approve the repurposing of the capital non-recurring truck 17-13 line of $100,000 to purchase a military truck that meets the needs of the Haddam Volunteer Fire Department.
All right, so I'm going to try to do this one without Scott, but Scott, Larson, can you come up? Scott's president of the Fire Association, so if I get stuck or I do something wrong, Scott's going to correct me.
Thank you.
So, you want to just do it?
Yeah.
Go for it.
In the long-range capital plan, there was $400,000 requested and part of it budgeted already for the replacement of a truck 713 here in Haddam. Last year, that truck replacement would be in 2 more years. As of last year, the way the long-range capital is funded, money is put aside a few years in advance. Based on last year's approved town budget, there was already $180,000 funded of that. The current budget we're in, we had asked to no longer fund that line because we were going to do something different with that truck and not specifically replace that truck. So right now, there is $180,000 already approved by town budget for the replacement of that truck. What we are looking to do is take that truck and repurpose it. It would be moved over to the Haddam Neck Fire Station, and there would be about $30,000 spent on that truck to get it up, some updates to it, to be used over in Haddam Neck. And then that truck itself would not be replaced here in Haddam. The $100,000 of that 180 already funded, we're looking to use to replace a military truck that we have. It's a 1971 that's used for brush fires off-road. We're looking to update that and get it, or replace that truck with a newer truck and outfit that for service in the woods. And that's what the purpose of the $100,000 is for.
Okay, so that's a little bit of background. Then I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the repurposing of the capital non-recurring truck 17-3 line in the amount of $100,000, and instead purchase military trucks that meets their needs. I have a motion to that effect. And a second?
I'll second.
Discussion or comments on this item? Hearing none, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, so motion to adjourn, do we have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?